we getting pro baseball here in Las Vegas before Nashville, which I never thought it would happen?
Phew, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, only because we've heard it so many times in the past. I mean, I've been here 20 years and I've heard a couple teams coming here and it wasn't real. I kept saying it wasn't real when it was happening. This feels more real than ever. That's a lot
I've,
of games, though.
I've said it before. When it
It's a
got to
lot.
this stage with the Raiders, when we were at this stage of conversation, it was already done. We just didn't know it.
Correct.
It had already been agreed to, backroom handshakes and different
Yeah,
deals,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it was
yeah,
already
yeah,
done.
yeah.
I don't know if it's already done. It just kind of feels like it's already done with the amount of conversations. It's just where are they going to build it? And if they blow up the Rio and build it there, that's brilliant. If they blow up the Tropicana and put it there, that's asinine. If they blow up or build it in Henderson, they're setting themselves behind the eight ball from the word go.
The downtown ballparks 100% do better. They can't put it out in the remote area. It eliminates half the city.
Yep.
You don't go
Summerlin people will not go to Henderson. Henderson people will not go to Summerlin.
not if you have to fight traffic and get across the city and it takes you an hour to get to the game
Yep.
to go sit for a
Sit for
2-hour
hours.
game now because 'cause they're fast because of the pitch clock.
Well, we'll see. But yes, maybe.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm a baseball guy, I'm biased. I think it would be awesome in that regard, but I'm with you. They don't win. AP just said it, he's lived there his whole life. It's win or nothing here now. Like, that's the reality of a team in Vegas, right?
Oh, I agree. And the Raiders are gonna this is the first year there's going to be pressure on the Vegas Raiders to win this year. The honeymoon's over. Like it's time. The Golden Knights
Is it? Like, with the
yep.
still with the visiting teams and only 8 games? I think they
Well, we
still
saw it, but we see it
still
with the
draw.
Golden Knights. I mean, the Golden Knights had a down year last year. Lots of Montreal fans were there. A lot of Bruins
Yeah,
people come. They're going to come and be a part of it. It's just the city won't pay attention as nearly as much. There's still a
that's
lot of
true.
heat for the Golden Knights because they're leading the Pacific. They're
Right,
good.
right.
So they've been good pretty much every year. Even last year when they missed the postseason, they weren't horrible. They had a bunch of injuries that happened at the end of the year, which took them out of the playoffs. But this year they're going to be in the playoffs and people know it. And so they're back on board and enjoying the hockey and enjoying the games. The Raiders, Allegiant is still has that new car smell where it's still, unique. When
It
driving
does.
past that thing, you're like, damn, that thing's big.
Yeah,
Like it's still
it
it's like
does.
it's a big Roomba in the middle of the desert.
Mm,
And inside of it is getting a bunch of like locally people are really liking it because it's paying for itself. The room rates are high. There was a big fear that if people didn't come here, the tax that they're using to pay for the thing wasn't going to come in. That's
right,
not been a problem.
right.
Vegas is at it's doing very well. So the anger people had towards the stadium is not nearly as high as it once was. And we're getting big events and big tours to come through, and people are liking that. So the Raiders, they need people to show up, but it's only 8 dates. It's
Yeah,
not that hard.
81 games is such a long season,
Whew.
and it's hot as hell here. I mean, it gotta be a retractable roof. We were down in Arizona for the Super Bowl. You saw that. We had lunch there, me, you, and Farrah at the ballpark at Chase Field, and it has to be built something like that, and then
Agreed.
it's gonna create even more and more traffic and all that other
Well,
stuff.
the Rio, I mean, if it's at the Rio, it won't
It's a
be that.
little bit off. It's a little
Yeah,
bit
it's.
off.
I think you can avoid it if you build the right infrastructure around, across the street from the Palms. The happiest people on the planet are the Fertitas who bought the Palms because that property's value will, jump to the roof,
Right.
and everybody will stay at the Palms and go to the ballpark. Like that's if you're a baseball fan making the baseball trip, you'll stay at the Palms. So it's brilliant. So
Mm.
that that would work really well.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But there's obviously questions about, logistics and money and who's doing what. But the reason why I think this is done personally is because the new governor, throughout his entire campaign, said, I'm not doing what the previous governor did. We're not bringing a pro sports team here by giving them money. And then switched his stance and said, well, there's already existing things on the law on the books. that you guys can use
Oh,
if you want to. So we totally changed the stance. So
right.
when I heard that, I was like, oh, all right, a bag got dropped off and we're good.
Okay.
We're doing it. So I I think it's happening, and I'm not actually all that big of a fan that it's going to happen. But
We'll discuss it again tomorrow. We're gonna get to some better book it and get out of here.
yes,
But
let's do it.
expansion team versus taking the A's, I think that's a big thing too for the locals. I don't think the
Expansion. I don't want the
yeah,
A's.
I don't think the locals want the A's. I got Goroff and a couple other Vegas guys in there saying, "We're good. Get
Yeah,
us a
we're good.
different team, new team."
We already took one bad team out of Oakland. Don't give us your other one.